Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.
Okay, I have 6 o'clock. My name is Todd Stevenson. I'm the president of the city council here in Neenah. Now, there's been a question as to why I'm leading this meeting this evening and not Mayor Crawford. This first meeting that's scheduled this evening is a committee of the whole meeting, which is a workshop type.
Left everyone. You're the head lawyers, the deputy. Caribbean.
So, you got that?
Yeah, Joe's not in.
Okay, so it's a workshop session that was scheduled based on the introduction of a ordinance at our last regularly scheduled council meeting and was deferred to a committee of the whole meeting for specific discussion. Later this evening, a regular, well, not regular, it's a special session of the Common Council will occur with all the exact same people who sit on the council now, but that meeting will be led by Mayor Crawford, as all regularly scheduled and special sessions of the Common Council are dealt with by Mayor Crawford. Again, I'm the president of the City Council, and I lead all workshop sessions. The Committee of the Whole is the same environment we use when we, for example, discuss our operating budget at length in full. It's a workshop session where the council is a little more informal. Mayor Crawford has asked to make some comments. Mayor Crawford.
Thank you, Todd. Mr. President, I just wanted to start out.
Did not. Which Genesis.
I just want to start out by saying that, we've been through 12 months, very difficult times here in this city and country, and this is a government meeting. This is your facility, the City Hall. I had to make some very difficult decisions during these last 12 months that impacted all of our lives. I did some emergency orders. I did some things that I thought was best for the staff, best for the community, and best for my constituents. We do have a rule, and in all government buildings in the city of Neenah, we're asking you to wear a mask. And no matter what side of the fence you're on this particular issue, I respect your opinion. And I think it's somewhat disrespectful that the rules were put out there ahead of time, and the expectations were that we're going to follow the mayor's emergency rules. This meeting was postponed a week because the alderman, led by Council President Stevenson, wanted to give you the opportunity to address the council and to share your views. This came up, there was a motion to take up this issue and vote on it that night. And some of the council members felt uncomfortable doing that. They wanted to have some transparency. They wanted to make sure the other side was heard from. So it is disappointing for me that some people are disrespecting my emergency rule. So I just want to say that. I wish we we would all abide by those rules and respect each other tonight as people are talking, and we'll get through this. Thank you.
Okay, so from a procedural perspective, a couple things. This is mainly for the people who are joining us virtually this evening. Back a year ago now, our IT department led by Joe Wenninger, who's down here running the board, if you will, was asked in a rather quick manner to make us a virtual operation. And as a result of that, we quickly transitioned to an environment called GoToMeeting. That platform has worked well for us for this last year. But I will say we have never had this many people in a common council meeting before. So for those of you who are joining online, this tool is not a lot like Zoom, which you might be more familiar with, which I'm more familiar with. I work with Zoom at our church and through some legal Wisconsin municipalities meetings, and I can function well when we have a lot of people. We currently have 42 people signed up or logged in currently virtually. So it may take us a second to understand our methodology and protocol to deal with you. So I ask your indulgence on that. All right, moving forward, this afternoon, I had multiple conversations with the author of Ordinance 2021-08, which is the mask ordinance that is on the agenda this evening. It was the desire of the author to not move forward with Ordinance 2021-08. Alderperson Steele is on the meeting virtually. She's not comfortable being here based on the interaction she had with the public and with what she expected as far as compliance with our COVID-19 protocol. And I don't want to speak for her, but her request, my suggestion, her request was to adjust our agenda to deal with line item 3, which is the consideration of ordinance 2021-08 prior to the public appearances section of our agenda. I'm sorry. Thank you. The city attorney reminds me we are on line item 1 of the agenda, so I'm going to ask the city clerk, or city clerk, the high price clerk, our city attorney to call the roll, please.
Alderman Borgen. Present. Erickson.
Here.
Steele.
Here.
Boyette.
Here.
Lang.
Here.
Hillstrom. Here. Lendrum.
Here.
Bates.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here.
Auger.
Thank you. So I apologize for that. We have 7 of the council members who are here present in the council chambers. We have 2 council members attending the meeting virtually. Alderperson Bates and Alderperson Steele. It was at this time that I was going to acknowledge Alderperson Steele if she had a desire to adjust the agenda to deal with line item 3, which is consideration of the ordinance at this time.
Yes, I would like to do that.
So is that a motion?
Yes, I would like to move to adjust the agenda to deal with line item 3 first.
I have a motion to adjust the agenda for this evening's committee of the whole meeting to take up line item 3 at this time. Is there a second for the motion? Is that Hilster? Is that you? No, thank you. I have a motion by Steele and a second by Hillstrom to adjust the agenda to deal with line item 3 at this time. Okay, that motion is not discussable. All in favor of, it's not a debatable motion or discussion item. So, I'm going to ask the clerk to, or the city attorney to call the roll on the agenda.
Alderperson Steele,
Alderperson Steele,
Sorry, I'm getting a lot of.
Someone
sorry,
said
can you
muted.
Alderperson Steele,
Aye.
Boyette,
Aye.
Lang,
Aye.
Hillstrom, Landrum,
No.
Bates,
Nay.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Borchert. Aye. Harrison.
Aye.
Yes, carried.
On vote of 7-2, the agenda is now amended and we will deal with ordinance 2021-08. I will recognize Alderperson Steele if she would like to speak at this time.
Yes, I would like to withdraw my proposal for this ordinance. It is apparent to me that there is deep division within our community. I was hopeful that our community could come together with the understanding that it is that cases of COVID are increasing again, that we have new variants that are spreading more rapidly. We have new variants that are affecting children more frequently, and that this would bring our community together in some form of a community, that we would be a community facing this with an understanding that we would do what we needed to protect each other. It is obvious to me that a fair number of this community actually are taking delight in publicly putting others at risk. That is deeply saddening to me, but it is unfortunately the reality in which we are living. I think that some will take this to be a victory for, quote, their side, unquote. I think there is no victory here. I think we are all losing. I think our community loses. There are lives that are going to be lost unnecessarily. And frankly, I have lost the sense, for what it is worth, that I live in a community where people care about each other and will do what it takes to keep each other safe. So therefore, I would like to withdraw my proposed ordinance.
I'll second that.
Well, there's no second required because there was no motion made. I will recognize first Alderperson Borchert and then Alderperson Bates.
So,
Alderperson Bates.
Thank you, Chairman Stevenson. Starting off on a light note, I want to say a wise woman once said, "Don't remove your parachute until you've safely touched ground." Masks and vaccines are neither 100% effective, but they are our best hopes currently. We are not done with this pandemic. We are close. We are tired of it. It cannot be fought alone. Each of us affects each other. We must win this together. So I am moving to approve ordinance 2021, the creation of an ordinance to create a temporary mask order within the city of Neenah due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and I so move.
Okay, so I think the appropriate motion, since we're in the committee of the whole environment, the appropriate motion.
To recommend to council.
Is correct. It's to recommend to council, at which time it would be dealt with at a council meeting, which would happen after this meeting's over. So I have a motion on, okay, so a motion on the floor to recommend to council approval of ordinance 2021-08. Do I have a second to the motion? I have on the floor a motion to approve ordinance 2021-08. Is there a second? Is there a second? That motion dies for a lack of second. I'll acknowledge Alderperson Borchert.
I'd like to make a motion in lieu of the proceeding with ordinance 2021-08 that the committee recommend the council strongly endorse and ratify the mayoral proclamation issued on April 12, 2001, which states, whereas the coronavirus has tragically spread throughout the world, with the United States reporting more than 31 million confirmed cases and 560,000 reported deaths. Within Wisconsin, we've experienced 643,000 cases and 7,380 deaths. And whereas Neenah and Winnebago County are seeing an increase in cases due to more contagious variants, increased travel by unvaccinated persons, and decreased social distancing. And whereas we all have to be cognizant of what actions we can continue to do and how to control the spread of this virus. Wear a mask when in public, stay home if you're sick or not feeling well, social distance at least 6 feet, wash hands often, and avoid large gatherings. Whereas face coverings or face masks continue to be recommended by the Centers for Disease Control and the healthcare professionals as an easy way to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. And whereas wearing a mask is an effective way to stop the spread of COVID-19, we're starting to see variants in Northeast Wisconsin and want to prevent the surge of COVID-19 cases now that the vaccine is underway. Because of this, it's important to continue the following masking, social distance, and hand washing recommendations. And whereas businesses and citizens are divided over this issue and enforcement penalties are difficult to come to an agreement on, business should be able to determine their policy when using their facility, and customers can choose whether to shop at the establishments. Now, therefore, I, Dean Crawford, Mayor of the City of Neenah, not me, it's actually him, do hereby issue this proclamation for a mask advisory, urging the use of face coverings by residents of visitors and businesses within the City of Neenah until such time that the city's COVID-19 case data indicates the pandemic has abated.
I have a motion on the floor from Alderperson Borchert to support and recommend the council supporting the proclamation regarding mask wearing as written and actually which is in place through the proclamation of Mayor Crawford. Do I have a second? Second. A motion by Borchert and I have a second by Hillstrom. Discussion on the motion. Alderperson Lindrum.
Thank you, Council President Stevenson. May I please ask the city attorney to describe the difference so we all understand the difference between an ordinance and a proclamation?
Yeah, so the ordinance that was proposed by Alderperson Steele would be a law that would be on the books until March 31st or sooner if the mayor declared the emergency over. A law actually carries the weight of any city ordinance that we have. So littering would be a city ordinance that we have. So that's what an ordinance is. The enforcement of that ordinance, however, was not by the police department, like a typical ordinance. The enforcement of that ordinance was done by the health department, the Winnebago County Health Department. That ordinance did not have any fines attached to it, so if any citizen didn't wear a mask, they would not be fined. Businesses would be required to enforce masks, and any business who didn't that got reported to the health department would follow up and contact them. This proclamation by the mayor has no enforcement mechanism at all, and is not an order or a law like littering. Instead, what the mayor's proclamation is doing is strongly encouraging citizen to wear masks, is strongly encouraging businesses to enforce masks, and is strongly encouraging the citizens of Neenah to follow the CDC guidelines put forward for social distancing, mask wearing, things like that. To be very clear, under either situation, any business has the right and ability to require masks. If there's an ordinance, they have to follow the ordinance. If there's not an ordinance, a business can still require masks. So the mayor's proclamation has the same theme as the ordinance. It just will not be codified as law, if you will, and there is no enforcement at all, so no health department type of enforcement.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion on the floor? Alderperson Bates.
Thank you, President Stevenson. I did get a letter back from the 55th representative, and she says that we should encourage people or require them to go with an N95. Is there any way in the proclamation to add the statement that N95s are the most valuable ones?
So,
Can I speak on that? This is Rachel Cabral-Gavar from the 55th, if you're going to speak for me.
No, that's okay.
I'm just telling them an email I got from you and what you recommended, so I'm putting it in my own words.
Representative Director, council, I believe, I checked your message. All council members received your email, and we're under Robert Rules of Order right now. That is council discussion of a motion on the floor. So I'm going to deny your request to speak.
So Alderperson Bates, it is a mayoral proclamation, so it would be improper to amend the mayoral proclamation. You could obviously ratify it and then ask the mayor to adjust that language, but it would be improper to amend the mayoral proclamation.
All right, thank you.
Okay, further discussion on the motion on the floor to recommend the council the strong endorsement of the mayoral proclamation. Is there any other discussion on the floor? I'm sorry, Raj, go ahead. Alderperson Bates.
Thank you. I was wondering if we do pass this, can we publish it in a sense like on our rolling billboard saying proclamation to wearing masks is encouraged? As much as we can get people out there to do it, I feel wearing masks, more people wearing masks is better than fewer. And just doing a proclamation that is kind of just sitting on our books here at council doesn't do a heck of a lot of good out in the public.
Yeah, I guess my answer to that, I'm not going to speak for the mayor, but any methodology we have to share proclamations have typically been done when proclamations have been made. Whether it's on the billboards, whether it's in the city newsletter, whether it's in conversations with constituents, obviously our website. I'm assuming those will all be utilized. So I'll acknowledge and recognize their offer.
Thank you, Council President Stevenson. If the council wants to do this, we will ensure that we use all our normal channels. It will be on the front page of the city website. You know, we have a Facebook account that I use to try and get the word out, and I'm also able to garner usually the media to get messages out, and we'll make sure we do that also.
Any other discussion on the motion on the floor? Any other discussion for the motion on the floor? Any more discussion on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, I'll ask the city attorney to call the roll. Those in favor of the motion on the floor, please indicate with aye.
Why can't I hear this? All this off.
Joe, please, yeah, thank you. So those supportive of the ordinance or the motion on the floor endorsing the mayor's proclamation will vote aye. Those who oppose the motion will vote no.
Alderperson Borchard? Aye. Erickson?
Aye.
Steele,
Aye.
Boyette,
Aye.
Lang,
Aye.
Hillstrom, Landrum,
Aye.
Bates,
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
That's all.
So on a 9-0 vote, the motion on the floor to endorse, or recommend council endorse proclamation by the mayor is approved. That now takes us down to line item 2 on our committee of the whole agenda, which is public appearances. So if there are those, here's how we're going to handle it. I'm going to ask Joe Wenninger to open the chat. And if you are attending the meeting virtually, please indicate when I would like to speak. Any other chat activity, this is important. Any other chat activity will result in your chat being disarmed. We can't have these discussions going on while we're in a council. We know no more than we would allow people to talk in our council. So if you're meeting virtually and you want to speak, just let us know. We'll create a list. And if not, that's fine. Now, what we're going to do here for those, we're going to deal with those who are present here first. And you're going to be allowed to speak once. And I would recommend no more than 3 minutes. So if you're present and would like to speak, I'll just start at this side. On my left, going around to my right. And if you would like to speak, you're welcome to speak. If your position has been shared, feel free to not speak. Yeah, we also need to have your name and address for the record. And I will track the time. So anybody over here that was in the left-hand side that would like to speak to the common council, sir, please step forward and use the microphone. We have white, you have to come up here and use the microphone because it is being taped. Those are the rules. Okay. So we have wipes there to use if you want to touch the mic or don't want to touch the mic.
Do you remember when I was becoming plain? I have questions on all the masks you guys are wearing. CDC states that NIV works. And all the boxes out there that you guys are handing out, it says specifically does not protect against COVID. Why are we enforcing something? None of the masks in this building actually prevent COVID. All it does is hindering breathing. The only one that CDC states is the N95. It's a 1% variance from having one to not having one. Why are we enforcing something that the mask doesn't protect me unless it's an N95? 1% variance. What's the purpose?
Thank you. Anyone else in the section over here? Yes, ma'am.
Janice Swanwick, 603 Oak Street. Janice Swanwick, 603 Oak Street.
Thank you.
I totally agree with the man that just spoke. I also have a friend who is a PhD molecular biologist, worked for NASA, also worked for developing drugs for cancer. He said wearing these masks is like trying to keep a mosquito out with a chain link fence because the virus is so incredibly tiny. I personally contracted the virus wearing a mask, following all the CDC protocols. It does not work. It causes health issues for people with gum diseases in their mouth they're finding from the doctor dentist. It's also causing lung problems as well as the mouth issues. And I would like to go along with the fact that the businesses, building owners, and individuals get to decide for themselves what they choose to do. Also, I was going to question how you're going to be enforcing it, but I guess that's not an issue with this. There also has been no increase in deaths this year. They've been relabeled, but there's no increase in deaths, and the number of cases listed as flu is down to like 18,000. And last year was 38 million. It's just been relabeling things. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else over on the left side here? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Okay, we're gonna go with this gentleman and then you, ma'am, and then you will continue with the red mask stuff. I'm sorry. That's all right. We can't hold hands and hum kumbaya.
Federal Justice 2410 Forest and Report. The COVID thing isn't all bad. It's decimated the flu. Whereas the flu numbers from the last season were like 30 million, and now it's just off the charts. It's so small. But Mayor, I'm sorry if a disrespect of your last mandate has upset you, but it's not the first time. I didn't like the way you voted on that, Ken. But the whole idea of the government telling us what's good for us, you are not going far enough. Why aren't you telling people who want to lose weight to eat more vitamin D, more zinc? There's lots of things that will be more effective than a mask, which for someone like me who has COPD, it's detrimental. Wearing a mask deprives me of oxygen because it reduces the amount of, the exchange is such that it's not healthy for an old man like me to wear a mask. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. And just a reminder, council has taken action on the proposed ordinance and not made a recommendation to approve it.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity.
Can you speak a little bit closer? And we'll need your name and address.
Oh, my name is Lisa Rock.
Joe caller one.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity for my voice to be heard. This is my American Birth Certificate demonstrating that I am a surviving exempt organized house estate beneficiary. And here's my American. He had sent an email to each of you correspondence with adequate scientific data from known global experts. Within the links I provided, you will find increased disclosures of liabilities as the lawsuits are expiring and pending. The professional public bridge fiduciary office each of you hold, who are subject to direct and limited liability due to premeditation of pushing, irreparable harm, torture, injury upon any beneficiary with an intentional force of unliable.
Ms. Rock, could I ask you to move closer to the microphone, please? All right, I want your message to be heard.
Injury upon any beneficiary is intentional force of unlimited liability. The public-made law shields zero people, and especially holds professional fiduciaries in the public office responsibility publicly and privately, meaning arrests and seizures and absence for human rights abuses and corruption equals premeditated crimes against humanity. I had sent an email to each of you Tuesday, April 12th, and in doing so obligates you each to your professional fiduciary duty to bridge the public to the public constituency and provide credible links to government agencies. When it comes to equity, we will defend against premeditated breach of trust, injury, and unlimited liability.
You have 20 seconds.
And lastly, I have the Nuremberg Code 1947, permissible medical experiment. Voluntary consent of human subjects is absolutely essential. This means that the person involved should have legal capacity to give consent, should be so situated as to be able to exercise free power
And he's lined up,
Excuse me?
he's lined up, your 3 minutes is up.
Without the
Looking at the
intervention
rules.
of any element of force, fraud, deceit, duress, overreaching, or ulterior form of constraint or coercion, and should have sufficient knowledge and comprehension of these elements of the subject matter involved as to enable him or her to make an understanding and enlightened decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Tamara Haas, 301 East Wisconsin Avenue. I'd like to thank Mayor Comfort and Alderman Borchard for amending this to more of an advisory rather than an ordinance or a law. I think it's much more suitable than an actual ordinance. Because at what point do we as a community cross the line? That line between personal liberty, personal accountability versus socialistic control and dictatorship. Even if that dictatorship is disguised as a republic. I disagree with Alderman Bates, and this pandemic cannot be won. This is not something that we win at. At some point, this pandemic will likely become an endemic. The plague still exists, malaria, measles, mumps, polio. These are still prevalent throughout the world. We have to choose individually and accept personal accountability for our own choices in how we choose to continue. I checked the Winnebago County report before I came here, and I looked at how many new cases were reported in our entire county, not just our city. Yesterday, there were 24 new cases in the entire county. I also checked to see what hospital rates were. There are hospital beds available. There are ventilators available. There is no short supply of taking care of the people that do unfortunately come down with this disease. We're not in danger of as many people losing their lives due to this disease. We are not where we were a year ago. We're not where we were 6 months ago. We're not even where we were 3 months ago with this disease. Telling people that they have to wear a mask is not appropriate. And I am so happy to hear that we're looking at this as an advisory and a guideline and not crossing the line of civil liberty. It should be my choice. It should be my choice for myself. It should be my choice for my family to make that choice and not have an alderman tell me that I have to wear a mask.
15 seconds.
So I'll just close by saying thank you. At some point, this has to be about people making a choice for themselves and how they wear a mask, if they choose to wear a mask, and not government governing for the sake of governing the people. I agree. One last thing.
No, we're done.
I agree with this advisory. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Bill Ballmer. I've been first off, just when a council member can understand and have passion, group and a passion issue. I just want to go back to when I was on council, a lot of council members just kind of jive me about the process being important. I think I was on a council for 6 years, a council of board for 2 years, and I always talk about process. And the interesting thing is none of my other patriots who were on those boards and councils are asking why. And I think this is a very good example because the night of this, as I understand it, the rules were going to be suspended and this was going to be put through without going through a normal process, the same committee or anything like that, which I think would have been very unfortunate because whether you're on one side or the other, this is something that would impact everybody in the city of Neenah. So whichever side you stand on, I think it's important to go through the normal type of processes and standing committees and to get more weigh-in and more opinions, more facts. Typically, Neenah, that happens. I think we have a pretty long track record of having good results, and at least we can walk away to agree to disagree because often people have to say. So I'm glad that decision was made to go to this committee, create a whole and more input was done. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Someone else over here? Go ahead, ma'am. Agree. Just make sure you speak it.
I just want to say, never in the history of ever having quarantine policy or ever done anything like this before in the history of the world. We've survived things like this before, focus on control of viruses having gone away. We haven't even got a cure for common cold. But there is a country in the world that never shut down their kid and was, masking to change any of the way that they were living. They never done any different. Seems to me, sometimes that this is, this masking thing is worse than, if there is worse than the cause. They do more harm than good. Increase in anxiety, suicide, respiratory problems. That whole problem, sometimes when it's a great river, and smoke, but not, a lot of things that have been created as problems with wearing masks versus not. Now, I understand why people are so scared. The media is attacking us with all these documentaries. CNN got it right on the 24/7. So we can see how many people are dying. Die. Sky is falling. People, unfortunately, like to see it. And my heart goes out to people who have lost people. I can understand their concerns. I can understand people's concerns if they have health issues. I will respect that. But it seems to me that people who are so adamant that everybody's got to wear a mask, they're so afraid to die that they don't want to take any risks to live. We took more risk with viruses than we do with the virus that is 99% survivable. So, really, I don't know how many of you are movie buffs, but Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne, one of the lines he says, get busy living or get busy dying. The rest of us just want to start living. With respect, if you guys want to wear a mask, don't make the rest of us do that. We just want to live.
Thank you. Yeah, and we just, this isn't a rally. So leave your emotional support. Behind. Yeah, thank
you. Barbara Bodenhagen, 402 Monroe Street. I had something written up to read, but it's pretty much all been covered. But I do appreciate the advisory. I think that's very good. It's one thing that has only been mentioned once is there are a lot of people who cannot wear masks. And they are having a very, very hard time just going about their normal living because they get attacked in the stores, they get frowned upon, they get yelled at, and there's just a lot of people out there that cannot wear the masks. I like the advisory because it does put forth what the CDC is saying, but it's not making us do what it is that some of us just cannot do. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me okay?
No.
Thank you.
Rich Bodnag, 402 Monroe Street. Just about everything that I wanted to say has already been covered, but I want to cover a few other things. Due to some associations that I have, I get the privilege of being able to say that I associate regularly with Nobel-winning researchers in cellular health, scientists, both national and international, in DNA. And one of my very best friends is though retired now, is one of the used to be one of the most well-renowned, well-respected national doctors in infectious disease. So that being said, my opinions are widely influenced by that. So some of the things that came out, we have known since the 1918 Spanish flu, when that epidemic took place. During the second wave, cloth masks were mandated and attempted in a wide variety of cities. And yet, a third wave still took place. It's been proven time and time again, cloth masks are ineffective at stopping a virus. This idea that we keep spouting and keep hammering and keep going on with this idea and telling people, wear your mask because it's going to stop the virus. It stops the spittle, it stops the cough, it stops all these little things. Okay, a cloth mask provides approximately 0.5% blockage. That's in and out. It doesn't matter your spittle, it doesn't matter your cough, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. That's 0.5%. Okay. A study out of Harvard University that was done in 2020 is where most of that information is coming from. Within the same 2 or 3 months, there were 3 other studies that came out from other countries. I believe it was England, Germany, and I forget what the third one was. All in that same time frame came up with approximately the same numbers, 0.5%. The E95 mask is slightly more effective, but still does not provide much stoppage of a virus coming in and out. Bacteria, yes. We have indications admitted to by Dr. Briggs that there have been lots of misdiagnoses. We have seen through several reports that there have been a lot of misdiagnoses of people having viruses being treated for virus and wind up dying because instead of having a virus, they had bacteria infections. It caused very likely from the mask. That's 3 minutes. 3 minutes? Okay. It don't work. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Bobby Green, 1531 Remington. I own Green Sports. Okay. Basically, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Come in your place. If you don't want to wear a mask, you don't wear a mask. Okay. I think it's silly as people walking in with a mask, sit at a table with 4 other people that they don't live with or anything, and then within 20 minutes they take their mask off. Now, we're all adults. If you don't want to come, don't come in our place. If you don't think it's safe, don't come in. If you do, please come in. We're just here. Basically, let's get along and let's go and let's live our life and let's keep going. Michigan has the highest, basically, the worst thing that's going on is they're very mask oriented and their spikes are going way up. Here, at least, we're going way down. Biggest thing is with us and with government, Ronald Reagan said the most terrifying words in an English language, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Okay? Please, just let us go. Let us live. Let's go.
Thank you.
Jim Van Handel, 793 Harvard Drive. Like everybody said, everything's been said before. My only point is, I don't know why this is a thing for this body. I mean, let's do recommendations about wearing suntan lotion. Let's do advisories for, waiting a half an hour before you go swimming. Let's do an advisory for, anything. I mean, let's fix some potholes. Let's make our city better. Let's do that. This just seems like a waste of time. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Anybody else here in the Senate section? Young man on the end here. Who the hell? Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
No, sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry, that is you.
Catherine Gooden, 1151 Honeysuckle Lane. So I'm kind of on the other side of the spectrum. So I'm against the mask, but I have an autoimmune disease and heart condition. And I'm pretty sure that I got COVID way a year ago in January, before the whole COVID pandemic. And I think the masks are silly. I have to get a prescription for my face because I break out like a 16-year-old girl on period. It's ridiculous. I can't wear it more than 15 minutes because I break out in hives. And I think it should be where should be the business's choice. If the business wants to have masks, that's fine. If you want to choose one to wear a mask in the business, that's fine. But I think it's really up to the business. Well, I don't think that you should have to force them. If they don't want to wear masks, that's fine. But I really believe that it should be up to them, not up to the government. That's all.
Thank you. Gentleman in the front row, and then the gentleman in the green shirt, I believe, did you have your hand up? Okay.
Ricky J. Card, 711 Maple Street. Before I start, I'd like to thank the council for the opportunity to be able to speak, and I'd also like to thank the council and the mayor for making sure that this is available for the public to weigh their opinion on it. It is extremely important, and this should be done for any future proposed ordinances. People should have the right to speak. I'm also one of those weird people that are right down the middle of this fence because I see both sides of this situation being a grave digger. Yes, I bury your loved one's body. I'm a trained nuclear biological warfare specialist in the United States Army. I am also a trained combat medic in the general education of microbiology and other sciences. I have also spent time in the Los Angeles area of California doing my job as a grave digger to help out overwhelmed cemeteries. I shared a hotel with a lot of doctors and nurses from around the country who were also there to help their overwhelmed hospital. People in California, Los Angeles area were wearing double the face masks with charcoal filters in between. They still got COVID and they still died. The United States Armed Forces charged DARPA agency to come up with a proper mask that will protect their soldiers from the coronavirus. They gave up after 8 weeks. Now, I'm not here to remind the council of the numerous scientific studies on the influence and inefficiency of most of the masks that we wear. Nor am I going to tell you about how the coronavirus is the third smallest particle measured at 0.1, 0.4 parts per million, whereas the common Lysol or moisture is at 5 or 10 parts per million. And while wearing this mask, I smelled the lady's perfume, which I believe is of the grass variety, at 5 parts to 10 parts per million. So that tells you how effective it is against the virus. Or that trying to stop COVID with a mask is like trying to stop popcorn with a fishing net. What I am upset about is that a certain member or two of the council feel that it's their personal responsibility to govern people on how they should dictate their own life choices and create an ordinance even though the police said they won't be able to enforce it. The mask has now become the people's pacifier or safety blanket. When we leave home without it, we freak out like we forgot our wallet, cell phone, or medication. Now, If somebody feels like they have to wear a mask outside of their home or at their workplace in order to feel comfortable in the outside world, by all means, go for it. And I suggest you wear a flannel mask. The material is tightly woven, way more than any N95 fiber filtered layer mask.
15 seconds.
If you can smell Lysol or a burnt out candle, your mask sucks. Don't wear it. I'm serious. Now, I don't care if people feel the need to wear a tinfoil hat or a face shield. That's also fine by me. It's their right to make their choice to do so. And Alderman's job, Alderman's job is to represent the needs of the districts of the ward and the local government, not to create ordinance. Let's concentrate on the issues that are going on in the city, and let's let the people make their choices. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, gentlemen in the green shirt. Again, I would strongly suggest we don't. Yeah, I have Jeff.
Ron McCary, 610 Cherry Street. I don't think I can improve on the last one, but a little saddened by a councilperson claiming that he is no longer a community, not backing her belief in masking. For ordinance, listed one piece of evidence linked to a government document that wasn't functional. No way for us to read her evidence. If she was uncomfortable because she was given a lot of grief about it, I think she should have been here. If she was actually threatened, I hope the need of police are after that person. None of you have, none of you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the center section that would like to speak? I'm gonna come back around again, Dale. So anybody else? Yes, sir, please. You tried to make those chairs comfortable. Yeah.
People, Bob Lace, 765 volt. If people are against masks, wear a shield. As simple as that. I have a full face shield that I wear when I'm out in public sometimes. You don't have to worry about people coughing on you, breathing in, whatever. And you have full breathing. Quickly, the U.S., actually Wisconsin, has 2% of the total cases of corona. And total deaths are down to 1%. This is because of the past history of the past few months of the mandatory masks in the state. Now we're being reversed right now. This is a health issue, it should not be a political issue. I listen to the medical people, not the political people. About 30 years ago, Neenah was the first city in the state of Wisconsin to support raising the drinking age of 21 because of the OWI fatality. There was a lot of resistance then, but now we're down to probably 20%, 25% of the total deaths from 30 years ago from driving. So, you know, people listen and people take care. They know that they should not drink and drive. Same thing with this. Protect yourself, protect the person next to you, and allow that person to be protected from you. You know, you could be transmitting it without even knowing it. Again, this is just should be a health issue, not a political issue. That's all I really got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the center section? Okay, move over to this section then. Yes, ma'am, in the middle, and then the person in the green shirt.
Andrea Marsh, 633 South Park Avenue. First, I would like to thank the mayor and Mr. Borchert for proposing the advisory as opposed to the ordinance. I don't have a problem with the advisory. It gives people information, it gives encouragement of what the city council and the CDC feels is best, but it allows people to make their own decisions. It also allows businesses to make their own decisions. The businesses in our community and in this state and in this country were tortured. The The governor shut them down. The ones that were allowed to be open had lots of restrictions. The once he finally allowed them to open, there were still tons and tons of restrictions. The state Supreme Court had to step in and stop it. And then the governor ordered a mask mandate and continued to order emergency order after emergency order. And Congress tried to stop it. He turned around 5 minutes later, did it again and again. The state Supreme Court had to step in and stop it. So while I do agree that this is a health issue, it's a health issue, but the government has no business in each individual person's health. So when the government attempts to do advisories or ordinances, it is a political issue. So far, I have been very proud of my community of Neenah. We have done a very good job of finding balance between health and safety and allowing people to live their lives. 2 perfect examples are voting. We found the Shopco building that we use, and now voting is back to being in our normal wards because things are better, and so we're continuing to try to pull back to as much normalcy as we can, right? So safety precautions, but relatively normal. Last summer, Park and Rec Department in the pool. Pool was open. Yes, it was different. There were some restrictions, things were varied, but the pool was still open. Park and Rec programs ran. There were restrictions, there were less programs, but the programs ran. Something that most other communities in our area did not do. So I've been very proud of my community for what you've done so far. And I was going to stand up here and tell you how disappointed I was at the ordinance, but I thankfully do not have to say that. I can continue to be proud of my community and what you have done. Do not be like the state of Wisconsin and cause legal issues for yourself. If the state Supreme Court says the government can't do it, the governor can't do it, then the mayor and the city council here in Neenah can't do it either. So thank you.
Thank you.
Martin Stratford, 1234 Maple Street. Tried to be brief, those are only challenge.
No, that was you.
Last May, the state Supreme Court threw out the governor's mandate. They ruled that it was illegal for him to extend it, and that's what they were asked to rule on. If you read the 151-page decision by the majority, they also said we weren't asked to rule on this, but these rules are clearly unconstitutional. So why we're even considering this when it's been already said by the state Supreme Court that this is unconstitutional amazes me. We're adults, our business owners are adults, let us make our own decisions. It's not the government's place to look out for. One more thing, and I'll actually be brief, I think. I'm going to read this to you quickly. Hopefully it rings a bell with most of you. The document I got today from the city clerk's office, it says, I, insert your name, having been elected alderperson, insert aldermanic district, of the city of Neenah, Winnebago County, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of an alderperson to the best of my abilities. So help me God. We swore an oath to support the Constitution of the state and the U.S. government. The state Supreme Court has clearly said these types of rules are unconstitutional. Glad to hear it's becoming an advisory. I got no problem with making recommendations. I got a problem with dictating to my government. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Kelly Berman, 985 Richford Drive. There's a couple of things. My son went to donate plasma twice, got denied because he had to wear a mask. He's 19 and his blood pressure was slightly elevated. So they denied. That really upset. If you want to wear a mask, so be it. That's fine. But AIDS has killed 75 million people since the start of the epidemic and 690,000 in 2019 alone. I don't see Neenah or the state of Wisconsin or the USA mandating condoms or abstinence. My husband is immune compromised. We still have yet to get COVID because we keep our hands clean, our surfaces clean, and we very rarely wear a mask. I, for one, I have asthma, so it's hard for me to wear a mask. But he doesn't have a spleen, so he has to be careful. But as long as you keep clean, why wear a mask? Because they don't do any good anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. And then the gentleman in the back.
My name's Scott Berman, 985 Ridgewood Drive. This message is actually coming from Rachel Cabral Guevara, 55th Assembly District. I write as a nurse practitioner who supports personal freedom, and I do not support the mask mandate. I write as a state representative who supports personal freedoms. As a medical practitioner, this is where you all got it wrong up there. Only N95 masks are proven to stop airborne transmission. COVID has been found classified as airborne by the CDC. All other masks do not support proper protection. If you are supporting this ordinance, then then you will also put an amendment that it will require all citizens to utilize N95 only. I ask that 100% science is displayed, not virtue signaling only. As I, the state representative for the 55th, please know I receive emails and messages daily that do not support, but also support this ordinance. I receive more opposition than support for masks. This should be recognized. Please base your end decisions on the citizens versus personal opinions and beliefs. Kindly, Rachel Cabral Guevara, 920-850-4521. If you need her address, I've got that as well. Would you all like that? Now, I'm the biggest germaphobe that I even know. I mean, anybody that knows me knows I'm a germaphobe. How many times has the mayor touched his face and removed the mask? I'm sorry, Dean. I counted 3 times. That's spreading more germs in my eyes than any. I had to deal with. I'm an amateur bodybuilder. I've lost 40 pounds over this pandemic because the gyms were closed. I couldn't go in the gym. Now I got to put that back in. What about everybody else? Everybody's talking about wearing masks. What about taking care of your damn body? Wash your damn hands. McDonald's. 655,000 people a year die of heart disease. $219 billion is spent on heart disease. Ban McDonald's. I don't see anybody jumping for that. 985 Ridgewood Drive.
Thank you. I will ask the speakers to not address individuals specifically. Dean doesn't deserve that. Okay, and who else on the right side?
I apologize for that. I did apologize to Dean at the same time.
Okay.
It's just something I noticed because I'm a germaphobe.
Okay,
I like Dean.
well, most of them.
He's a germaphobe, but he still likes Dean. What does that tell you?
Well, anybody else in this section? Oh, yes. Sorry.
Thank you, Council, for the opportunity to speak to you. My name is Daniel Bauman. I live at 711 Nicolay Boulevard here in King. We've already addressed the issue of the Constitution, which you have sworn an oath to support. Of course, we all know that that First Amendment gives us the right of the freedom of religion. It is my belief that I need to take care of this body because it houses the Spirit of God. Not everybody has to believe that, but everybody does have to allow, because of the Constitution, that belief. If I choose alternative means to take care of this body that is opposing what is ordained, that is my right to do so. And if I were to walk into a business that does not allow me to come in because I'm not wearing a mask, then that is just as bad as racism. Because we cannot, in this country, be biased against creed either. And so with all of the partisan that takes place with this healthcare issue, we understand that the waffling that has taken place in 2020 isn't really a healthcare issue. It's a constitutional issue. And the First Amendment is still in place and should be defended by those represented here on the local, state, federal levels. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Urgent.
Merritt Carpenter, 955 Rikers Road, 599 Rikers Road. I have been listening with great interest and trying to wrap my head around some of this. And we had a quote from Ronald Reagan, so I'd like to respond with one from Mother Teresa, who I believe is the author of the comment that when bad things happen, look for the helpers. And I think one of the best things about this community and about our country is that when bad things happen, people show up to help. You see them out sweeping sidewalks, delivering sandbags, putting up food kitchens. People help. And this is a bad happening here. And I think we should be thinking about, how can I help? Wearing a mask is not a major operation. If you have a health issue, that's a different situation. But putting on a mask is not just for you. And as for the Constitution, I believe that the preamble is very clear about the responsibilities as well as the rights and the goals, which includes promote the general welfare. The advisory is a step in the right direction, I guess, given the amount of opposition that's here and the risk to community unity. But I do believe that we have an opportunity here to choose. Are we going to ask ourselves, how can I help? Probably 4 of the greatest words in the English language. Or are we going to say, you're not the boss of me? I leave it to you, but we have the opportunity to make our own choice. I hope everybody that feels very strongly that their rights are being violated will take another look at this, and I hope that they're right, that they will not catch anything and that nothing bad will happen to them. But I also hope that we remember, how can I help? Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Carpenter. I'd like to break protocol here and publicly thank Margin for her service to the city and for the influence that she's had by 30+ years here. Okay, I'll go back this side. Mr. Deek, do you want to speak? Come on forward, please.
Bill 95882 Pendleton Road. A few speakers ago, a gentleman referenced the Spanish flu in 1918. For obvious reasons, I don't remember that. But anyhow, we'll fast forward up to recent years. I'm pretty sure I had this COVID in December. I get a little sick, not too bad. The worst, it seemed like I would run out of energy all the time. But the worst I've ever seen in my life, nobody has mentioned 1957, the Asian flu. Or maybe some people closer to my age, I remember that one. I missed 5 days of school. Was taken to the doctor, even passed out in the doctor's office. That's probably the sickest I've ever been in my life. I survived it, obviously. And not to take anything lightly, a death is certainly a sad situation, no matter the age. But some of these deaths are 90-some-year-old people in nursing homes with COPD, asthma, and whatnot. Naturally, these people don't have much of a chance. None of us want to be in that situation. We're all getting older. I thank the council for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Okay, who else would like to speak? That's it. Okay, just this gentleman, and then we'll move to the virtual speaker.
Good evening. Doug Miller, 1606 Red Wing Drive in Neenah. I had a whole list of things, but everybody has kind of touched on that already. So the one thing I'm going to say is, obviously, our health issues are very personal, and I just urge you guys to stay out of that. It's just, you guys don't want to deal with all these people here coming in here and giving you the rundown on it. It's better to just stay away from that. So for those of you that are for the vaccine, which I am most definitely not, I did look up this afternoon. 79% of that quote at-risk population, that is people over 65, have been vaccinated. Okay, so for Wisconsin, people under 60, they only account for 8.2% of the deaths. What you were considering, you're going to make the majority of people uncomfortable, and what everybody already said it, for a minuscule amount of work, or excuse me, a minuscule amount of risk.
But they're not. It's dropped.
Okay, I didn't interrupt you. Please don't interrupt me. So the last thing I have, the last thing I have to say is what happened to our faith in God. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Last chance.
I got a second half of the speech I didn't get to.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
I'm supposed to mention that Rachel's stuck in Madison right now, that's why.
Yeah, Rachel, Rachel Cabrera is our first speaker. If she's there, I think she may have left. Rachel, are you still here with us? Okay, seeing none, I think we'll come back to her. Jesse Frisbee. Jesse, if you're here, I'm not sure how we unmuted you.
I'm here.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Hi, I am Jesse Frisbee. I live at 514 Maple Street. I'm a business owner and resident of Neenah. Since being back in business from last May, I have always allowed people to choose whether or not to wear a mask. In doing so, I have catered to people who wear masks and who don't. I perform services on people and see an average of 75 people a week. I sanitize, wash hands, and wear a mask on and off all throughout my day. My family and I have remained healthy thus far, as well as no COVID cases have been linked back to my shop, none. Based off of my own experience, I find that forcing a mask mandate a year later is counterproductive. I'm just here to stress the importance of giving people the freedom to choose what is best for their bodies. And I ask that the council truly consider their decision and how it affects people's lives, which you guys have, and I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Next will be Lori Ashbury. Lori, are you still out there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity. Lori Asbury, 234 Limekiln Drive, Neenah. I wanted to speak today and first start out by thanking the community. I'm a board member with the Neenah Joint School District, and we've worked hard since the beginning of the school year to keep our doors open for in-person learning because we feel that is very important for our kids in our community. And I wanted to thank our community for adhering to what has helped us to keep the doors open of our schools, and that is to practice the CDC recommendations to prevent the spread of the virus. It's social distancing, it's wearing a mask when needed, and it is respect. And I want to echo what former Mayor Marijan said and remind us about civil society. our duties to each other, and what makes a community. And I would hope that we can stop making this a political issue and be kind and caring to each other and not all about ourselves. So again, thank you to Mayor Dean for coming up with a compromise. And I appreciate the community continuing to allow us to keep our doors open at the school district, and also the local businesses to not have to shut down or be in the situation that we were before. So thank you to the community, and I hope you will think about respect moving forward.
Thank you, Lori. Steve Lenz?
Thank you, President Stevenson. I'm Steve Lenz, 721 Kensington Road, Neenah. First off, I'd like to thank you and the rest of the council and the mayor for serving our community. I don't really have much to speak on in regards to adding value to your debate, being that there won't be a debate. However, I did make a commitment to a number of people who wanted to come and speak and have their voices heard. However, they didn't feel comfortable, either because they didn't want their name out there or because they didn't want to actually be in person, understanding that there's still a pandemic going on. But I did want to at least give you guys a couple perspectives that I was able to pick up. And this is actually today, I was there, I had left. It was my choice. There were a number of people who also chose not to wear masks, which I think is a good representation of what will happen when there are no mask ordinances or mask orders. But the other perspectives that I made a promise to carry forward was that of the retail workers. There's a number of retail stores out there that have policies that are determined by people not in our community, but are still enforced by the stores to keep their employees safe as well as their guests. And a lot of these employees, some as young as high school age, are feeling the blunt of not having orders or ordinances because the fact that people don't legally have any repercussions about not wearing a mask. So again, they're choosing not to. And this puts these sometimes young people in general, in an awkward spot where they're being yelled at and they're being treated as if they're the ones that created the policies and such. That's not fair to them. They're not feeling safe when people come in and aren't respecting their workplace. It was a topic that was also brought up by the mayor at the beginning. So I committed to bringing that vision or that perspective forward for them, even though the vote had changed. So I'm just kind of following through. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Kurt Kielish, Kielisch.
He had to leave. I see another text that says he had to leave.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Technology here. I would like to speak R.C. Leach. R.C. Leach.
Hi, my name is Candace Leach. My husband and I own Used Treads Tire Store in Neenah, Wisconsin, and we actually live in the town of Vinland. I just wanted to thank you guys for hearing the public tonight, for deciding to listen to us, and for having our opinions and our voice be heard before deciding to make a decision, or as in the case tonight, deciding to withdraw the decision to make a mask mandate or ordinance. I do want to ask that maybe you guys could help shed some light on how the public can be more informed of different things that are put on the agenda. I know that we can go on to, I think, the Facebook website or the City of Neenah's website. I didn't know if there was any other places or any other suggestions for how we can be in the know of what is going on in the city as a business owner or a resident or a patron who comes and buys, spends money in the city. So if there is, if someone could take that time and opportunity just to share with the public and the citizens as to how we can be made more aware of what is going on in our city and how we can, be able to stand up and have the people of the city be heard and listened to. I do also ask that you would continue to be able to listen to the public and not try to have a cloak and dagger type meetings where you would go and make decisions without the public voice being heard. I do really appreciate the mayor taking the time and effort to make sure that the public had an opportunity to speak. I was not aware of last Thursday's meeting until an hour before, and it was very interesting and kind of a little shocking that people were wanting to vote on an ordinance that affects the whole city and without allowing the public to be heard. So I was very disappointed with that being a possibility. So again, I just ask that you continue to allow the public to be heard, to make them aware of things that are coming up on the agenda, and be able to actually listen and take our thoughts and opinions into consideration before making decisions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I will just respond briefly to that. If you're familiar with the city council or the city website, every council member's phone number and email address is located on the website. There's a section on our website that has agendas and meeting schedules. And you can ask that you be put on a regularly a receipt of any particular meeting. If you're interested in the police commission, you can go on our website and you can ask to have the police commission agenda emailed to you every time there's a meeting. If you're interested in the city council, you can ask that the city council agenda be emailed to you. And if you need any help setting that up, Carrie Lendrum has repeatedly offered to help people do that. And she's giving us the thumbs up right now. So thank you to Carrie for that. And any council member can help you with that. But Carrie's much better at it. Okay, so thank you, Candace. That takes us down to Brandon. Brandon would like to speak.
Hi, my name is Brandon Roback, 202 Edgewood Drive here in the city. I would just like to say that we are so close to the end of this pandemic. We have 2 vaccines available, one of which I got today. And there's finally a light at the end of the tunnel. We should be keeping our other community members safe until the end of this pandemic by wearing a mask. And I'd like to thank Alderman Steele and Bates for their attempt to just keep the public safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Comment? Okay. That seems to be all the virtual attendees' requests to speak. Is there anyone else virtually who has not spoken who would like to speak? Can they unmute themselves? Okay. And going once, anyone virtually who would like to speak to the council? Going twice. Anyone virtual, you'll have to unmute yourself to let us know you want to speak. Going 3 times. Okay, seeing none. Okay, anybody in the chambers who would like to speak to the council who has not spoken? Okay, I want to thank everyone who's in attendance and everyone who has joined us virtually for your interest in this subject. I will reiterate that the Common Council is always interested to get your opinion on any of the issues that we're discussing or any of the thoughts that might make this community even better than it already is. I want to thank Mr. Lenz specifically because I can remember him thanking us, but there were others out there who thanked us for our service and on behalf of the entire council
It's a privilege and an honor to serve this community, and we do our very best. And in no way, shape, or form can we keep everyone happy on this issue. So we're here to serve, we're here to listen, and we do the best we can.
Oh, yeah.
Council members, anyone have anything to say? Oh, yeah, okay, so let me explain. We're near the end of our committee of the whole discussion. There's been a recommendation that was made by a motion by Alderperson Borchard, seconded by Alderperson Hillstrom, and passed unanimously to strongly endorse the mayor's proclamation. Once we adjourn, we will adjourn this meeting and sign into the council meeting 5 minutes after we get done with this. If those of you who might want to watch virtually, you'll have to sign out of that meeting, go to the sign in for the common council meeting. As you cannot stay on this meeting will end, we'll have another meeting start. What do we have to do next? Have I missed anything else? Julie? Okay, I'll recognize Alderperson Boyette.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
State Representative Rachel is texted me and asked me if we still want her to try and call back in. She is driving home from Madison at this time, so if you do want to hear from her, I would let her know that she will try and call back in.
Well, technically, I've closed the public business section, so unless she's really passionate about talking.
No, she thought maybe the council or yourself wanted to hear from her.
I think we're okay.
Okay, great, I'll let her know.
Thank you. Okay, at this moment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn from the committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Borchard and a second by Erickson to adjourn. All in favor of that motion indicate with an aye. Aye. Alderperson Bates, I'm assuming that was an aye. Thank you. All right, I don't see that the nays turned their camera on. Okay, we are adjourned. In 5 minutes, we'll reconvene in our common council session.
I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Neenah Common Council for Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. Due to the public health emergency caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the meeting's occurring both virtually and in person at the council chambers here at City Hall. The virtual meeting is able to be accessed by the link that's been provided or on a conference call. So the committee members and the public have the ability to access this meeting through that if they so desire. Proper notices have all been given, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this special meeting and thank you all for coming tonight. The first item of business will be the roll call. Roll call will be called by City Attorney Westbrook.
Alderperson Lang.
Here.
Boyette.
Here.
Steele.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Borchert.
Here.
Stevenson. Here. Bates.
Here.
Lendrum.
Here.
And Hillstrom.
Here. All members are present. There's a quorum present. Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be led by Alderman Hillstrom.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the Republic of the nation of God.
All right. Next item of business on the agenda is public appearances. We've just had an opportunity in the Council Committee of the Whole for public appearances, but we also put it on this agenda. If someone feels the need to speak during this public appearances, now is the time. We just ask that you give your name and address, and we'll give you up to 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone here in the council first? We'll go in the chambers first before we go to the virtual online citizens. Come on up. State your name and address and welcome.
Scott Berman, 985 Bridgewood. This is just a question for the council. Alderman Erickson, did you get the email from Rachel Cabral Caveira?
Yes.
Mr. Borchardt? Stevenson?
I got a email from her, yeah.
Okay, did you get the email that I had read earlier?
I sounded like it, yes.
Okay. Attorney Westbrook?
No.
Mayor Coffert, did you get the email from Rachel Cabral Guevara that I had read?
Yes.
Hellstrom?
Yes.
And Kathy Boyett?
I did.
And Alderwoman, I will say, Jean Lang?
Yes.
And Lindrum?
Yes.
Okay, I can't read too. And I know Marge Bates and Steele also read that email. That was just a question. I had just spoken with Rachel, and I just wanted to clarify that to Rachel.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Is there anyone on the virtual meeting that would like to address the council under public appearances? If you do, you have to unmute yourself.
I just have a question.
Could you just identify yourself, please, with your name and
Yep,
address?
this is Candace Leach, business owner at 988 South Green Bay Road, Suite B in Neenah. But I just had a question because we had the public speaking at the last meeting. Did the public comments transfer to this meeting as well, or is this are there people here that didn't hear the public speaking at the last meeting?
Well, the meeting earlier, your comments will be recorded in the official record of that committee of the whole. This meeting, we're down to a very small crowd right now. I think most people that spoke last time have now left because it's the same audience, the same committee member, council members, and so none of that have changed.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that the opinion of the people was heard, because it looked like the agenda was similar to the previous meeting. So I just wanted to make sure that
Okay.
was the case. So
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for your question. Anyone else like to address the council during the public appearances section? All right, if not, I will close the public appearances. We will go to item number 3. It's on the agenda as ordinance number 2021-08, creating an ordinance to create a temporary mask order within the city of Neenah due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Alderman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm reporting out from the Committee of the Whole meeting that was held earlier this evening, just minutes ago. The committee, on a motion by Borchardt, seconded by Hillstrom, and passed unanimously, recommends that in lieu of ordinance 2021-08, creating a temporary mask order, that the council strongly endorse and ratify the mayoral proclamation issued May 12, 2021, advising and encouraging masks throughout the city of Neenah, and I would so move.
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Stevenson, seconded by Alderman Borchardt. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? All right. Alderman Bates.
Yes, I would encourage us to put it out there a little bit further than just putting it on the internet, because a lot of people don't look on the internet. As I said, if we could put it on a rolling billboard in the city or something like that, I would appreciate that, because a lot of people don't go online and the newsletter won't be out for some time. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate that. You guys took out my billboard out of the budget last time, didn't you?
We got one.
Oh, I got one. Okay, thank you. I couldn't resist. Sorry. Alderman Hillstrom.
Thank you, Mayor. I was asked in between meetings when this proclamation ends.
I don't think there's an end date on it. It'll end when I determine that, it's safe to take it.
The proclamation does say until such time that the numbers have ended the pandemic or something along those lines.
I can tell you I'm not going to make that decision alone. I'm going to converse with probably the council president and probably some members to help me make that decision. The actual whereas says, until such time that the city's COVID-19 case data indicates the pandemic has abated. So I think it'll be in consultation with, folks.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Boyette.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to comment earlier and I didn't, and I guess I'd like to take the opportunity to do that now. Some of the folks that spoke out, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who spoke out. I would like to thank everyone for their emails and for their phone calls, for people that showed up here and for people that were on the internet tonight. This is your city and your word does matter to us. I also wanted to let you all know that, I have my own personal opinions on a lot of things, but I try to put them aside and do what's best for the community when I sit up here and make my vote. And so with that, I have health issues of my own that, excuse me, that I tend to wear my mask because of, not because of COVID, but because, excuse me. Because I have had to fight for my life. And this mask is not for COVID. It's for everything. It's for every little germ and every little bug out there that could jeopardize my life. And I know people are saying, oh, HIPAA laws and privacy laws. Well, I really don't care who knows about my private health. I've had 2 transplants so I could fight for my life and be here for my family and my children. So I resonate with those people that are scared with this COVID because I too have been there, not with COVID, but with other issues. So with this mask issue, I just want to say that I sure hope that we're not going to look at one another when we choose to wear a mask and judge one another. Some people want to wear them, and that's fine. And the ones that don't, that's fine too. But I certainly hope that we're not going to have a bunch of people in our community that are going to divide because we choose or choose not to wear a mask. We do what we want to do for ourselves. And I think that's a freedom we all should have and be grateful for. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other members have any questions or statements? Alderman Bates, I'm sorry. Alderman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. There's one comment I wanted to make about, and I wasn't able to after the statements, the previous meeting, when it was said that the Supreme Court discussed that or overturned it because it was unconstitutional and that we had no right to do it. I thought I had understood it to be that it was overturned because the governor did not have the right to do it. The legislature had the right to do it. And since we are the legislature in the city of Neenah, we had the right to evaluate it. So that's my comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comment. Any other members like to speak on this? I would just like to say that we live in a great community, and tonight was another example of people who care about this community on both sides of the fence on this particular issue. There is no doubt in my mind that that the 9 members of this council have worked together in many instances to make this city a better place than it was before us. And there's a lot of passion here. There's a lot of opinions. There are people who take up causes for people. But the one thing that's constant is the people who serve up here, that I serve with, have a passion for this city, and they want good things to come out. And we can disagree at times, but at the end of the day, we all come together and try to do what's best and what's right for this community in all the different areas that we deal in. And so I'm proud to work with each and every one of you. And the citizens of this city need to know that, need to be reminded of that sometimes, that of the sacrifices that you make and each and every day to serve this community. So I just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to say thank you for Alderman Borchert, his help, and the mask advisory, and the fact that that was unanimously approved tonight. I pledge to you that I am going to properly move to get that word out, to talk about it, to tell people that it's a good, positive step as we near the finish line, in my opinion, of this pandemic. And it's a way that's going to get us out of here. And the sooner the better. I mean, I don't put too many dates on, but, July 4th, I want to enjoy the fireworks with my family at the park. And I'm hopeful that if people keep getting vaccinated, that we're gonna be there by the 4th of July. We're gonna do everything we can to have somewhat normalcy this summer, but we're gonna keep people safe. I'm gonna keep staff safe, because there's nothing more important to me than my staff and my citizens that we all represent. We're gonna try and find that balance. Hopefully things won't change, and if they do, it'll all be for the positive. But I respect everyone's decision on this, and hope that we all promote this, and like Kathy said, respect each other's position, each other's rights, small businesses that spoke tonight, and individual citizens that believe that this solution that we came up with tonight is proper and is putting us in the right direction. So thank you all very, very much. Anyone else? If not, there's a motion and a second to, in lieu of ordinance 2021-08, to create that would create a temporary mask order that council strongly endorses and ratifies the mayoral proclamation that was issued April 12, 2021, advising and encouraging masks used throughout the city of Neenah. All in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no, as Attorney Westbrook calls the roll, please.
Alderperson Stevenson.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Lendrum.
Aye.
Hillstrom.
Aye.
Lang.
Aye.
Boyette.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
And Borchert.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That motion passes 9-0. Thank you all very much. I know we've said this before. In our last meeting, this is Alderman Steele's last meeting, but Neenah, we want to take just a moment to once again say thank you for your service. It's been 3 years on the council, and in my opinion, you've done a great job, and we appreciate your insight, your input, your leadership, and the fact that you were willing to serve. So thank you once again. Is there a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposed, that's ordered. We are adjourned. Thank you all very, very much.
Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.